The second season of Prime Video's Good Omens introduces the unusual pairing of Angel Aziraphale and Demon Crowley to our screens. They banded together in the previous season to defeat the Antichrist and avert a conflict between heaven and hell that would have resulted in Armageddon and the end of the world as they know and love it. They were successful in doing that, but their cooperation raised suspicions, which resulted in their expulsion from their houses. The Angel-Demon team is seen living their best lives and pursuing their passions in the second season. The abrupt, unexplained arrival of Archangel Gabriel, who has lost his memories, disturbs their tranquility and peace. Crowley is hesitant, but Aziraphale chooses to keep Gabriel at the bookstore. But as a result of a chain of circumstances, Aziraphale and Crowley are forced to take sides. What the finale entails for them is as in this video. Spoilers alert. Good Omens Season 2 recap. With no memory and no clothes, Gabriel comes at Aziraphale's bookstore. Although he has a box, it is empty. Gabriel is completely lost and has no idea how or why he ended there outside the bookstore. He has forgotten everything about himself, even his name. He merely has a vague sense that something dreadful is about to happen. This unexpected turn of events astounded and alarmed Aziraphale. He is aware that heaven must be searching for Gabriel, but given his current condition, it would be preferable if they didn't. Hell comes next. The Archangel cannot be placed under the demon's control, despite how much they would like to. Crowley is quick to stress how risky it can be for his friend when he finds Gabriel at Aziraphale's residence. Even still, he chooses to assist his friend because he is certain that nothing can persuade Aziraphale to change his mind. Together, they work a miracle that hides Gabriel from view and keeps both heaven and hell from knowing who he is. Gabriel will be safeguarded by this, but the solution to this problem lies in learning what occurred to Gabriel and what horrible thing he had been speculating about. Good Omens Season 2 ending. How did Gabriel lose his memory? After waiting 6,000 years for Armageddon, angels and devils were furiously disappointed when it never materialized. Even if it meant wiping out Earth and the entire human race, they both wanted to start a war and put matters to rest once and for all. The outcome, however, wasn't what they had hoped for, and Gabriel and Beelzebub found themselves in charge of energized armies that were frustrated at not being able to wage battle. Gabriel and Beelzebub met in a neutral location to discuss the implications of Armageddon failing. Their soldiers were prepared for the second Armageddon, they said. They conversed on how similar their roles were and how no one else knew what they had to go through as the leaders of their groups rather than whether or not to engage in combat. They developed a sense of friendship during successive sessions as a result of this, similar to how Aziraphale and Crowley's paths crossed throughout the centuries. Beelzebub and Gabriel likewise ran into each other in various bars and conversed on the topics they had never spoken with their respective communities. Slowly, they started to fall in love, but they didn't talk about it since they knew it was against the rules. The other archangels eventually began to consider going to war once more, and they pressured Gabriel to issue the order, but he refused. He didn't elaborate on his choice, but he did say that as long as he was in charge, there wouldn't be a second Armageddon. Gabriel was placed on trial for failing to perform his duties by Michael and the other archangels after growing impatient with him. He would be punished by losing his memory and becoming a low-level angel. Gabriel gave the pretext that he needed to tidy his desk before they could carry out the sentence. He undressed, placed his memories in the fly Beelzebub had given him inside a matchbox, and then departed from heaven. He intended to travel to hell to meet with Beelzebub, but he wound up outside Aziraphale's home because he forgot where he was going. What happens to Gabriel and Beelzebub? Gabriel was in the bookstore, despite Aziraphale and Crowley's best efforts to hide it, and both heaven and hell knew it. With no other defense in sight against Shax's legion of soldiers attacking the bookstore, Aziraphale uses his halo to dispatch the demons. The angels and demons from heaven and hell enter his bookshop as a result of this official declaration of war. Using the fly, Gabriel's memories are recovered, and he remembers everything. He reveals to Beelzebub that he was on his way to her, and as a result of their public display of affection, both heaven and hell disavow them. Aziraphale forces them to take into account what Beelzebub and Gabriel want. Both sides want to take them in order to punish them as they see proper. They simply want to be together, wherever that may be. Beelzebub and Gabriel are fine with the fact that heaven and hell make it obvious that there will be no turning back once they depart. Crowley advises that they travel to Alpha Centauri, the location that he had planned to visit with Aziraphale in the event that Armageddon occurred and the Earth was obliterated. Wherever Beelzebub and Gabriel travel, whether they go there or somewhere else, they will be happy since they are with each other and in love. Does Aziraphale become Archangel? Why didn't Crowley join him? The position of the Archangel and Supreme Ruler of Heaven has become vacant with Gabriel's departure. Aziraphale helped Gabriel, and Michael and the others want to punish him for it. But Metatron appears and saves him. Who should replace Gabriel in heaven? He asks Aziraphale. It turns out to be a trick question since Metatron seems to already know the answer. He observed how Aziraphale skillfully guarded Gabriel, handled heaven and hell, and settled the conflict without causing any harm. This demonstrates that Aziraphale possesses all the skills required to govern heaven. Crowley's status as a demon can be changed back to an angel using Metatron's abilities. He is advised to take this into consideration. Hearing this excites Aziraphale. He believes he and Crowley can both be angels and be by each other's sides without having to worry about heaven and hell, and he is glad for himself and Crowley. Additionally, he believes that by doing this, he will be able to improve conditions in heaven. However, the demon is not happy when he informs Crowley of this. Crowley reveals his dissatisfaction with Aziraphale's choice. He wants them to resemble Beelzebub and Gabriel. He doesn't need heaven or hell because he loves Aziraphale. He believed Aziraphale shared his sentiments, but it turns out he was mistaken. Crowley gives him a kiss to show how much he cares, but Aziraphale is unmoved. Aziraphale cannot pass up this chance, and despite Crowley's cautions that the position is not as ideal as he believes it to be, he joins Metatron, leaving his bookshop on Earth behind to return to heaven and become an Archangel. What is the second coming? How will Aziraphale be a part of it? Crowley declines his invitation to go to heaven, but Aziraphale decides to seize the chance to ascend to the position of Supreme Archangel and make a difference in heaven. This makes Metatron happy, and he remarks that Aziraphale is the ideal angel to begin the subsequent phase of the Great Plan. When Aziraphale inquires as to what it is, Metatron responds, the second coming. This alludes to Christ's second coming and the day of judgment, when everyone will have to give an account for their deeds. So it's just another way of saying Armageddon. Since the beginning, Aziraphale has opposed Armageddon and the annihilation of the Earth, therefore his surprise comes as no surprise. He still adheres to Metatron. Why? Probably because he still believes that, as an Archangel, he can make a difference. The end of life as we know it on Earth is what heaven means when it says that it wants to wrap things up, according to Metatron. Aziraphale might think that if he is in control, he can prevent that from happening. In any case, he can no longer turn back and may eventually need to reevaluate his allegiances and position. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.